Hi everyone, it's Religious Fanboy here again, and today we are discussing the Christian lessons and themes of episodes 3 and 4 of Spy X Family. Like, I'm gonna start with a bit of a disclaimer. This, I believe, only applies for episode 3. Um, the image that I had referenced with the 3 visible dead bodies is depicted in the introduction of this episode 3 that is used to give quickly a description of the show. This one it is called, they usually use like a kind of dirty variations of chromatic grays. This could be argued to be more realistic, but there's also less detail in the dead bodies in this version. The In contrast to the opening of the first volume, Spy X Family, the bodies are depicted in variations of pink, and there is slightly more detail. Neither one of these is extremely graphic, like there's not blood, but I would understand if that would be so, that being something that makes you feel uncomfortable, and that be a reason for why you'd prefer to read the manga chapters for this. Um, I want to say these episodes adapt probably chapters. I want to say 4, like 3 through 6, 3 through 7, and or to be more specific, like the rest of volume 1 is adapted in the form of an anime in these last 2 episodes, like in these 2 episodes that we're discussing today. um and there are still depictions of Yor in the black dress. There is still is same situation as the disclaimer I gave for episode 2. Um, but with that being said, I would like to, with the exception of those things, I did enjoy the episode and like the lessons and themes that were depicted and illustrated through them. And that being said, I'm gonna get into the text for this video, which is Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, which says this: Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. And here are some brief episode analysis for episode 3 and 4. Episode 3, Yor moves in with Twilight and Anya, and the three of them travel around town in order to prepare for the Eden College interview. But after they work to but it is not until after they work together to stop a personager that they began to feel like a family, and what they were trying to do in with their day in order as to the extent of creating a genuine connection and a good reputation is accomplished as a result of them intervening in stopping the crime that was taking place. And they end the episode feeling ready for the interview. And that is the end of episode 3. And here is the analysis for episode 4. Yor Twilight and Anya seem to be passing all of the aspects of the interview, and we see them continue to keep up their own personal ethics while still managing to come across as elegant in the eyes of the headmasters until Twilight punches a desk, punches and partially caves in one of the desks of a headmaster in response to them antagonizing Anya by trying to force her to answer difficult questions. And this leads to Twilight having mixed feelings about the school and his mission. But Yor comforts him and encourages him to leave the whatever happens next as far as whether or not they are accepted to the end after the interview to fate, and that is where episode 4 ends. And this brings us to our two talking points. Our first talking point is our goals will often not be as easy to achieve as we would like them to be. Due to the difficult and frustrating state of the world, and due to the fact that people are complicated, and that's not a bad thing. Like, part of it is because of free will, but God gave us free will in order for us to reciprocate His desire for us for to reciprocate His love. And in order to do that, God had to make it possible for us to choose to follow God and have a relationship with God, or to refuse that. And by free will and just the fact that we are all uniquely made, it means that human interaction is going to be complicated and will not go the way that we planned. Not unlike Twilight's efforts to make him and Yor and Anya come across as upper class, elegant people in order to prepare for the interview, but instead, those things were difficult and a challenge for them. And it wasn't until after they had genuinely bonded by being able to help each other that they were able to get to the point where they felt ready for the interview, which was the objective of their outing. And the second talking point is that even when a situation seems hopeless, we can have peace when we trust in God. This is this is important to know because there will be times where, because of the goals and aspirations we have, and because of how that either coincides or contradicts or obstructs other people's plans and aspirations, there will be distractions and obstacles, and there will be times where things feel hopeless, such as this is illustrated in Twilight's uncertainty about whether or not they will still get accepted, as well as wondering if he still is willing to continue to pursue getting Anya enrolled in the school after how badly they had treated her during the interview process, which led to Twilight coming very close to having a violent confrontation with the headmaster. But it is at this low point where even though she doesn't know the full story and situation, she was still able to provide comfort and reassurance to Twilight by encouraging him to leave whatever happens next up to fate. Like how we need to, when things seem hopeless, we need to remember that we can trust on God's wisdom and understand that He can see and is more aware of what is happening and what will happen, and that God is still in control no matter how scary or hopeless a situation may be. And that even when we feel that we've done all that we can do and we are still scared and worried about the future, we can trust and remember that we can always pray that God's will be done, and we can ask for our plan and hopes and desires to come to fruition. But with our trust in God, we can know that regardless of if it happens the way we would like it to or not, that things will be okay and that God is still in control. And by surrendering our desire for control to God, we can experience the peace and relief that God desires for us to have. And with that being said, there will most likely not be a new video on Friday of next week. There will still be an episode of Kino's journey being discussed on Wednesday for anime devotions. And that will be the last episode of Kino's journey, The Beautiful World. And after that, we will be moving on to the Prince of Stride alternative. And with that being said, may God be with you, and I will see you next time. We'll pick up Spy X Family again on Fridays in 2 weeks from the day this video comes out. And with that being said, may God be with you, and I will see you next time. Bye.